Hello, fabulous superstar Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boys, at a very special time. And it truly is so special now. Powerful energies are with us, and it starts at the very beginning of the month. On the first of the month, we will have this month's new moon, and the new moon takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life. So this is about the places you frequent every day. It's your clients, customers, coworkers, immediate supervisors, and other people that you might interact with every day. And it's also about those quiet habits that help you to build a sense of well-being, including the health-related habits and testing. So here's the thing, new moons bring with them new opportunities, new work-related opportunities could find you, and new beginnings. But the great thing about this new moon is that it is speaking in supreme harmony with Saturn. That brings with it a measure of groundedness. It brings with it a sense of whatever's starting now, it has the potential to grow and to last a very long time to come. Workplace opportunities now might come with more responsibility, but there's also that potential that you will hold on to that responsibility for a long time to come. If you get new clients, customers, or even coworkers now, they're likely to be the ones that stick around for a while and contribute to your longer term success. And so I'm very excited about this new moon for you. If you are trying to start new health-related habits, it's really the slow, diligent things that you implement now that can really help you to create lasting changes that you love. But it isn't just about the new moon. I mean, it never is just about anything and a single thing. But let me say, under the light of the new moon, we are going to have a larger configuration called a kite formation. And it is for you lighting up areas of the chart that have to do with work, but they also have to do with what's happening on more spiritual levels for you as well. All of these areas for you now represent blessing and breakthrough. As we navigate forward, the 15th of the month is when we have this month's full moon, and there is a lot going on under the same sky. The full moon is one that is hand in hand with Uranus. It is speaking in harmony with Neptune, which brings inspiration, and supreme harmony with Pluto. And at this point, Pluto will be at its very last moments. I mean, just 4 days after the full moon, Pluto changes signs, moving into fellow air sign Aquarius for the next 20 years. I'll come back to that. But it is these moments just before planet changes signs that it is especially concentrated in its power. And that's what we're going to have here now, speaking with this full moon. Going back to that Uranus, this is a wild card. This is a surprise a minute, if not a shock a minute energy that's taking place. Just hours before the full moon perfects, Saturn goes direct. All of this to me says some truth, and for some Geminis, some hard truth is likely to present itself. You've got Saturn right now moving through the top of your sky, having to do with career, life purpose, and the success you're willing to work for and towards is highlighted here. But what we also have is that full moon in the sign just before yours. And that's about karmic cleansing and karmic closures. In this case, they can come about very quickly, but ultimately be very fortunate for you. It is this supremely fortunate energy now, even if it takes you aback, even if it takes you by surprise, even if it has you scrambling for a moment by what comes forward now. Very soon you will see the opportunity. Very soon you'll be glad for it. You'll be grateful for it. You add to that Saturn moving forward, and in some way you are being honest with yourself about what's worth achieving and what isn't. And you are feeling a sense of ready to move forward. And whether you're moving forward in terms of a brand new career path, that could be part of the closure now. With every closure comes a beginning. Or it could be that you are realizing more clearly, more honestly, what you really want to do, what your purpose really is. And that could end up being one of the most empowering things of all. Now, it is also this month that Pluto changes signs, as I mentioned earlier. Moving into fellow air sign Aquarius, I know I've been talking to you about this. I mean, I've been talking to you about this for at least 5 or 6 years, going all the way back to the decade ahead horoscopes. You can find that on my channel. I'll link to it below as well. But having said that, this is Pluto leaving a part of the sky that has to do with having to deal with financial institutions and now moving into a worldly part of your sky. And this is about you changing your relationship to the larger world and seeking power and purpose in institutions that have to do with higher education, legal matters as well, immigration, citizenship, long distance travel. These particular areas are going to likely call you and provide truly life-changing experiences for you that serve as catalyst moments. I would not be surprised if you found yourself that much more engaged on a world scale, whether it is you stepping up to a bigger stage than you knew before, or it's a new world of ideas for you, a whole new understanding of your political views, your philosophical and spiritual views as well. I am going to invite you to think back. I'm going to give you a couple of key time frames here, considering what's happening in the second part of the month. In some way, it's going to correlate to what was taking place the first 2 weeks of September of this year. Before then, the beginning of January of this year. In fact, I would say the entirety of January. And before then, it was what was happening in March of 2023 and in June of 2023. This is where Pluto has returned as Pluto crosses that threshold 0 degrees once again. And this is a powerful moment for you. Whatever happens now might in some way hearken to what was taking place at that key dates back then, especially where it came to your understanding of the world, but more importantly, your place in it. You're now going to start to look for power in new directions, and your focus will help you to find it. Finally, the 23rd of the month, that is when we have Mercury going retro. On the 5th of the month, Mercury moves into shadow. And all of this is with Mercury in your opposite sign. And that has to do with partnerships of all kinds. We are going to enter next month with Mercury retrograde, and Mercury will be retrograde right until the middle of December. Then Mercury will go direct and leave shadow at the beginning of January. You've got a nice long stay of Mercury in your opposite sign, but you throw in the retrograde season and it's just wow. Where it comes to matters of love, I think this is going to speak very powerfully to the Geminis. Breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. And this is pretty powerful for people coming back into your life, perhaps people you were partnered with before. It might bring with it mixed feelings, mixed emotions, mixed certainties. But it's all part of you gaining clarity. I will say this isn't necessarily the easiest retrograde season. That's because we're going to have a series of squares to Saturn, and that means difficult truths, needing to accept certain realities, even if it's hard, and being mindful of limits. Those limits might be the limits you have over another, or it might just be your awareness of the limits you are willing to go in a current context. For those of you open to meeting someone new, as I said, people from the past, I mean, really, regardless of your relationship status as you start this month, you might have interactions with people from your past. But if it's not someone from your past, it's going to be somebody remarkably like someone from your past that you were partnered with before. And it's all part of helping you to see certain patterns that might be there for you in order for you to heal them and decide whether or not they're working for you. For those of you just starting to date someone, breakups that happen and do not stay broken up, if you know this isn't someone you want to navigate forward with, well, you might want to do something about that as we begin the month. But even then, it is going to be a month like this where you are looking at this person and sort of evaluating whether or not there's partnership material here, but you're really not going to have your answers until we get towards the end of next month. But regardless, always do what's right for you to do in light of your unique circumstances. And for those of you in an established month, breakups that happen do not stay broken up. I know that's only going to apply to a small percent out there, but if you felt for a while that you're not in the right relationship for you, if it has felt challenging, this could be where it feels as if you're ready to go a whole other way. And that might be the case. But it could also be rooted in miscommunications and misunderstanding. The only exception to that rule would be if you tried to break up with this person before, found yourself bouncing back. This just might be the time when you're finally accepting some realities and making the change. But the overwhelming majority of Geminis are just going to find this a time where, yeah, there's miscommunication with your partner. It just might make for interesting stories on the other side of the retrograde. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say, well, I do love that retrograde. It can be fun. I do want to be straightforward with you. It is hard as well, but it can also be rather interesting to just find yourself somewhere and someone you were partnered with, whether it was romantically, most likely, but also in business as well. They just pop up seemingly out of nowhere where you least expected it. It could be online. It could be while you are in transport. These are all sort of the domain of Mercury, but it's in these particular contexts that you might find yourself running into certain people. And at the very least, it just might make for an interesting story. And most importantly, it just might show you something about how far you've come, how much you've changed in your understanding of who's worth aligning with and who isn't. And that's really a reflection on you, how much you've grown and all that you are today. Thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month. With choose your membership rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.